What's up, party people? Rob here. I'm excited to know more about this dude because he's got some major things in the works, but I'm even more excited because he's competing with the length of my hair. It'll be a good challenge.
Okay.
Nolan, man, appreciate you. Thanks for hopping on and sharing your story, dude.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. It's like I said, it's me and you have talked a good amount, and it's finally cool to like talk to you in person. Like just the energy is already great. So yeah, I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, and we created the LA Note just so we can give people an opportunity to be known. And a lot of people, they'll do it once. But again, we don't discriminate. If you want more, good, just reach out and we'll take care of you. So when you reached out, I'm like, dude, this is perfect. Because if you got something that you want to push, let's talk through it. Before we get into your new projects, why don't you tell everybody like what you do and then like how did that kind of get started?
Yeah, I'm an actor, model, fashion designer, and now a producer and director, which sounds like a lot more than like when I say I'm doing like, oh, you're doing a lot of stuff. I definitely am, but I'm a person who has to stay busy. It's ironic in the sense that I've only been doing film stuff, film related. I grew up like going to movies with my dad, watching movies, just loving film, where I would take more away from it, say like most people where they go to a movie and they're like, I enjoyed that or I didn't enjoy that, and then they forget about it. For me, I was breaking down like stuff in a way that I didn't realize wasn't that common until later on. I grew up a huge sports fan. I'm still a diehard sports fan. Big Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, Bears, and I grew up a big Chicago sports fan. But so I went into sports, like that being the thought I was going to do that for a career. I always wanted to be on TV, like a talking head, a sports host. So that was the goal. So I went to Ohio State. I got accepted as my dream school. I got accepted. I went there. I covered sports. I would say probably halfway through my time there, I started going through the motions where I realized it just wasn't the right fit for me. Not to bash anybody in that industry by any means, but for me, I couldn't let my personality shine through. It was too much to minge you into being a certain way. I couldn't really get the tattoos and wear the clothes that I want to wear. And I was told numerous times that I wrote like too romantically about the sports, being like too much of a fan. And for me, there were so many red flags that kind of I just ignored that's why I wanted to do that, because I was a fan. So I thought about film for a while. It was in the back of my mind, and I wanted to do acting, and certain things in life just kept adding up and throwing themselves in my way that I ignored. Eventually, I started taking acting classes while I was at OSU. I switched everything around with what I was doing there. It was a dramatic change, but I'm a very ambitious person, and so I was hitting the ground running. I was taking multiple classes. I met some great coaches, Ralph Scott, Chad Willett, Richard Mason, and so I just hit the ground running with that, and so then it turned into that. Clothes. Growing up, I always wanted to be the best dressed. That was a big thing for me.
Okay.
So like that was like even when I was like in kindergarten, I was like, I gotta have couldn't leave the house if I didn't have a cool outfit on. So
Wow.
for me, that kind of made sense and was always there. And then so I wanted to design my own clothes, which is what I did. And I've designed a couple tees up to this point and done some modeling. Like I said, the acting is my primary focus. But getting to like now where we're at now, there's so many movies that I sit back and I go, I don't understand the appeal to this show or that show. It just seemed very cookie cutter, if you will. And so things to me, I like very indie artsy films, A24, stuff like that. And so for me, a film, it's one thing when you can have this top-notch action. I love Marvel movies, but I don't really consider them the highest level of cinema. They're entertaining for sure, but I like things that really make you sit and think about it for days, where you're like, wow, like that dialogue, that conversation, that it just felt so real and authentic. And so for me, I don't know if we can talk about the project now. It's just like,
Yeah, let's go right into it. We might as well.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean to do that, but it's led that way. So
Yeah.
for me, I thought about, directing and producing, and I was in school at for journalism for writing, so I know how to write. For me, it was more about there's a lot more work that goes into it. I'm realizing even now, but I wanted to make something that I could be in, but more importantly than that, something that I could create that would jump out and affect other people. So for me, I'm starting with a short film I've titled Lifetime of Sin, and we're filming that a week from tomorrow, so October 29th. It's going to be hopefully in the 10-11 minute mark. I don't want to get too far away with my first project, but it's me and an actress I casted, Michaela Riley, who's phenomenal, and we're co-starring in it, and it deals with her being a young woman coming face to face with her choices in that relationship that exists between us that descends into crime, essentially. On my end, you have a guy who's very ambitious, again, almost relatable, but in a crime market, drug market, cartel, wanting to be like the top guy, realizing he can be the guy, and that ambition, that greed gets away from him. She wants more of a safe life, so they kind of contrast in that sense. And yeah, that's the summary, if you will.
Now, where did the idea come from?
Honestly, I don't know. It's so funny. I have random ideas, whether it be with clothes or with movies or with whatever. where I remember when it came up, I went home to visit back in Champaign, visit my parents, and I woke up in like the middle of the night, like literally, like maybe like 3 or 4 in the morning, and I just had this idea, and I just started writing on my notes tab, my phone, and it was like it shifted a lot from what it originally was for sure, but that's where our synopsis, if you will, came from, and it just kind of snowballed, and then I just kept thinking about it, and I kept getting busy with my own projects and stuff, and I'm like, no, like I gotta put time into this. And so I got Michelle Daly to help co-direct with me and write it as well. And so she's great. I've worked with her before, but I was like imagining this team almost, and it just came together. And thankfully everyone was on board. But yeah, the idea itself is just came to me, and I just like, I'm grateful it did.
Yeah. And how did you find the team members, like the different people that can do all the different things?
Yeah, so Michelle I'd worked with on a short film prior to this, Undoing, and it was a silent film, but it was just her artistic direction with everything that she's doing, and shout out to her. It's great. It's exactly my sort of vibe, where like I can look at a director's work and I can go, yeah, like that's my kind of thing. It's very indie, artsy is the best way I can describe that. And so I reached out to her, and I was really hopeful that she would be on board with this, and she was, which was great. And then as far as really the other person we have, which is my co-star Michaela, I actually coached her in acting. I coached her in acting, and I saw her progress from, she started off really good. She just had a great energy about her, great talent. And then that kind of elevated to a whole nother level over the course of 7-8 months, whatever it was. And so immediately I had to ask her and had to get her on board too. That was like my next priority. And I was 2 for 2 with people that I wanted to work with. But yeah, that's the cast and how it came together.
And how about all this stuff, but the videographer, the editor, the lighting, sound, those are all different people too, right?
Yeah, so we have a couple people that we might be getting for that. The beauty about a short film is that you can do a lot with very little, and that's a lot. Like whether it be low budget move with the finances, with the cast, with all that. So even with a larger time frame of short films, say half an hour, we got to get a lot more. There's just a lot more that goes into it. I really wanted to make this a short film, even minus, it's not even from a person standpoint. It's more from, I want to leave the audience wanting more. I really wanted this to be like that first project that I make where it's like, wow, that was really good. Like I need to see more and build it from there. I didn't want to jump right into an hour-and-a-half film that if it does suck, God forbid, I'm like standing on the outside like, damn, I wish I didn't spend so much time doing that. Leave the audience wanting more is what it was. But as far as the team goes, no, like right now it's literally just us 3. Now we might get a person with sound because sound is very hard. Anyone who does video editing knows how difficult sound is to match. But other than that, Michelle has filmed everything on her own. Like she's not even, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's crazy. She's not had a second person at all outside of the talent, the actors. So it's really me and her both doing this. So I think that you combine that, it's going to be really cool. It's definitely my biggest thing is like being in front of the camera now, as well as hopping behind and helping. It's going to be a lot. But like I said, the good thing about that is, or maybe the bad thing, depending on, I can't use an excuse for it. This sucks. It's gonna be all on me. But I'm hoping it's not the way it goes. I'm hoping that like, because I'm able to really use my vision with it, I can look playback, because I've done a lot of films before where the director's always right, as we say. So if they say they want you to do this or say this the way, then you do that. Yeah. There's a lot of times I've worked on projects where it's like, all right, let me see playback, because me as an actor, I want it to be the best. Like I compare myself to the best actors in the world, and I'm not that good yet, but I want to get to that level. So it's, let's run this back. Let's run it back. And I've had a lot of directors like, no, that's good. And I'm like, so now I have that control, that creative control, where I can go, if we have to run the same, and Michaela and Michelle both might hate me, but like, if I have to run a scene 25 times, then I'll run it 25 times. So I think that's a benefit too. Yep.
How would you encourage, what would be your advice to someone that has an idea and wants to actually bring it to life? What would be your expert advice for them?
I would say you just got to go out there. I know it sounds like basic, but you really just got to go out and do it. Like it's hard. Okay, let me set all these things down that I need before I go out there. But I think that I've had more success, ironically enough, when I've just been like, I'm going to do this. I'll worry about the rest later. Like I'll worry about the details of it later. And obviously there's going to be issues that occur when you're not completely prepared. But I think just going out there and making it, rather than, because a lot of times people sit on ideas. They might have a brilliant idea for a show, a podcast, an article, a movie, whatever. And they're just like, if I only had this, if I only had that. But what you're doing is you're creating so many excuses for yourself of why you'll never do it. And then time goes by, and 5 years is going to go by regardless of what we do. So you might as well spend that time doing something, trying and learning. There's going to be a learning curve. And like with this, for example, I know for a fact that there's going to be a lot of like hiccups with this. I just know, because it's my first time doing this. But I'm also not going to sit back and go, maybe if I have more experience with this knowledge and this and that and the other. I'm just going to go out there. I know what makes me like a movie. I've been an actor. I've been doing this professionally. So I obviously know those elements. and let's see what we can do and let's see what we can work with. So I think just go out there and do it for sure.
That's good. That's good, because you don't want to waste time. And then, like you said, 5 years later, what'd you do? I like that.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the motivation behind this ambition that you have, dude?
Man, I've been ambitious since the day I was born. I feel like I always wanted to be the best, and that's something that I've taken with me. I don't know, like growing up, I played sports and I was always competitive. Like I always wanted to be the best on my team, which if we lost a game, it wasn't even like I enjoyed winning that much. It was more like I just hated losing so much that it was like, I've just always been a ridiculously competitive person since I was a kid. And as we grow and evolve, that's one thing about me that's never changed. I'm so competitive. So when I look at someone else, I don't get like jealous and be like, oh wow, they're better at acting me, they're better at this. I go, all right, let's elevate. Like I'm motivated. Nice. So I think it's just, I feel like I've been put here for a reason in like a weird way where I feel like I'm meant to impact people in a big manner. And really, I get a lot of messages, whether it be from other people who are in acting or otherwise, saying I motivate them and stuff like that. So you hear that and it's definitely humbling because you're like, it's like pressure, but at the same time, it's just keep doing what I'm doing. I know that I'm doing it the right way. And the good things that have already come are going to continue to come. And more people will be affected and hopefully ambitious to start their journey on whatever it is they want to accomplish.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I can just tell by the tone of your voice, how you enunciate things, how you articulate your ideas. You're pretty ambitious, man. You're a go-getter.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Like I said, I'm never settling with just being okay. I think there is a level though that I have reached where I used to, whether it be an article getting mentioned or whether it be a movie, I would be like, okay, that's cool. What's next? Without really even thinking about it. And now I'm enjoying the process just as much.
Okay.
You know, and that's very new to me because it's always been like, all right, this is cool. What's next? All right. Cool. I'm thinking, and that sounds like a lot of people are like, oh, that sounds like really good. But I think that's a lot of, you don't really live in the moment enough. You're always thinking about like the future and not the present. And so I think about how far I've been able to come with this and I'm very grateful. There's a long ways to go, but I'm definitely enjoying the moment a lot more.
Yeah. Speaking of the future, what's next? What are your plans?
So this film it's been a few months now. I'm having this idea and working on this. So film that next week. Next Saturday, edit that. I definitely get it out before the end of 2022. I don't have a release date for it yet, but definitely before the end of the year. That's my next focus. I just finished the second leg of a stage play called Through Their Eyes.
Wow.
So, yeah, and I'm not a stage person either, but I did that because Raymond Good, who's a phenomenal director, I really liked his energy and he came to me about wanting me to lead this. So
wow.
I took it and it was great. And we finished the second leg. That was last Saturday. I don't know if I'm going to go on a third one just because of how busy I am with this, but I know he's touring that around. Like, I know he's going to Washington and I think he's going to be out in Cali somewhere at some point, but Virginia, I know he's going there. But so for me, I just finished that. That was a lot of prep, a lot of work with that. This is my primary focus. Like I've told Michelle, like I've told Michaela, is number one. I have another short film with another phenomenal director and actress, Ava Fumarello, who will be filming next month as well. That'll be like probably early to mid-November, I would say. So that's coming up. And then it's probably going to be the round of take a break into December with the holidays and everything after I do all that just to ease up. And my thing is, I don't feel like people promote their work enough. Like, I feel like that's why I'm so grateful. I think that the promotional value that you can get from something is almost as good as the project itself, assuming the project is good. Yeah. Where I feel like a lot of people have a lot of good stuff. They just don't know how to promote or they don't promote it at all. And I'm like, that's just got swept under the rug because you didn't have a promotion with it. But I'm making sure that instead of doing more projects, I'm doing less projects, but more promotion for each of them to really have its own.
Good.
Yeah, that's what's next, I would say. A couple short films.
Yeah, that's a good move. Where can people find your stuff? Where can they find you?
Yeah, so social media, I'm at Instagram at Showtime_Harmon_13. Twitter is inharm1. My Facebook is just my name, Nolan Harmon. And then as far as projects wise, I think I'm gonna be putting these on YouTube. I have one short film on YouTube called Noah. I have some other projects that are in post-production that just haven't been released or I haven't gotten. That's another, not to get off topic, but that's another thing that happens too when you do a lot of these projects is you do them, you show up as an actor, you do your filming, and then once you're done on set, whether it be 3 days, a week, whatever, you don't ever get like that stuff back and you don't really know where to find it or whatever. I really wish that's something that directors spent more time doing, is making sure that all the talent was able to see the project, not just their group. Because I've done a lot of stuff like in Cleveland and Pittsburgh back when I was there where I didn't get it. I never got anything back, and I wish I could see it. But as far as my own stuff, YouTube is definitely my YouTube channel. Still my name. I haven't uploaded anything in probably like a year on there, but I'm going to be posting this stuff. The thing about short films also is you can't post to YouTube if you plan on submitting it through a festival circuit. There's some sort of rule about that. And I don't know if it's immediately or you can do it like after it's made its run.
Yeah.
If this is what I'm anticipating it being, I definitely want to submit this to, there's a couple festivals in LA, 2 in Chicago that I want to be able to submit this to. Yeah, so that's my goal right now with that more than anything else.
Yeah, that's real interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, good for you. Good for you. I'm sure you're pumped and really good feedback and a good narrative that we get to hear from you. So people will reach out to you, look at your stuff, and we'll be excited to promote it when it comes out.
I appreciate you so much, man. It's great. It's always great talking to you.
Yep. All right, man. Peace out, everybody, and go to his YouTube channel.
Thank you.